Alright everybody, so this video is going to be on this generator here that I kind of teased in my snapper riding mower video when I put the belt on it. This generator actually came with the house. It is a 5,000 watt Excell brand generator with a 10 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine on it. The engine code says it was made in 1999. So, like I said, it came with the house. So I don't know how long it's been since it's actually ran, but I kind of needed to get it out and see if I could get it going, just because I've got potential tropical system coming in here this week, and it would be nice if I could get this thing going for that. Check the oil level. The oil level is good. The oil looks relatively clean on it. An encouraging sign, whenever I just took it out just a second ago, is that they actually had the fuel shutoff switch in the off position. So hopefully there's not much varnish in terms of gas in the carburetor, which we'll get into here in just a minute. I might actually put it outside and spray some carb cleaner in it and see if I can just get it to turn over. It does have a low oil safeguard switch on it, which is kind of nice, and it looks to be in good condition overall, as long as everything works on it, and hopefully will be a relatively easy one to fix. So let me get it out of the garage here and we'll take it outside. I'll take this cover off and see if we can get it to run. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully it'll be an easy fix. So I'd really like to get this going before the week is out, but we shall see. So taking a look, I took the air cleaner off, and yeah, it's got a little bit of dirt from just where it's been sitting, I guess, but if you look inside it, it's really clean. So it tells me that this generator probably doesn't have a lot of hours on it. Also indicated by the muffler here, you see just a slight burn. So this thing probably has barely even been ran. Hopefully it'll be just a matter of draining out some gas in it and getting it to go. But we'll see. Gas lines look to be in good condition too. I just have to figure out how everything is allotted there. I'll have to take this cover off, but first off I want to see if I can get it to at least turn over for us. That's a really good sign. So let me actually take these two bolts off here. That bolt. Take this cover off. We'll get into the carburetor here and probably just drop the bowl and see how bad it looks and drain all that old looking gas out of there. Try and run it out and just kind of let this thing run for a while. Like I said, hopefully it'll be an easy fix. Looking relatively promising so far. Hopefully that carb's not too gummed up. So you can tell this thing's been sitting for a while. Taking this off, the prognosis is good. Just got a bunch of just rust and crud and stuff in it. So what I'm gonna do, and you leave the bowl here too, there's a bunch of crud in there. I'm just gonna clean all this out and take the carburetor out, clean it up, and hopefully that'll be all this one needs. It's looking promising, to be honest. Like I said, just a bunch of dirt looking stuff in there, just rust. So I think actually this carb might slide out, unless I see another bolt, because it's on these slide pins. unless the star bit, I bet the star bit there actually holds the carb in. It's probably one of the two-piece ones, kind of like Honda engines. So let me take those stars out so I can get this off, and we'll get on the workbench and clean it off. So luckily the carburetor has more varnish in it, or excuse me, more just dirt and mess in it and the varnish, so it's kind of caked on there, but I got all the loose stuff out. Used just a Dremel with a little wire brush there. I was able to get most of, I mean, all the ports were already clean. It's just the whole thing is just dirty with stuff. I just need to put it together and run it a while, I think. So show you all the fuel. Luckily that shutoff, actually something was blocking the fuel line, and actually resembles more of something like sweet tea than it does fuel that was in there, with how brown it is. But I'm going to get this ball back on, and I will put it back on the generator. And the generator's actually got like one of those pulse fed fuel pumps on it too. So the wild card here is going to be as if it's dried up or not. And hopefully it's not dried up, and of course it doesn't have any fuel in it. The fuel lines are dry as a bone, so I have high hopes for this since I was able to get it to kick over. So I'm going to put the bowl back on, put it back on the generator, and we'll test the pump first. Hopefully it is pulling fuel up. If not, we'll just try and give it a shot of fluid to see if we can pull it up in there that way. So hopefully this will be an easy fix. So before I put the carburetor back on, I just kind of wanted to show you the configuration of this fuel pump, where I actually got the vacuum line going from back side of the engine. It goes on the top here. On the back is the fuel line. On the front is, I guess, the residual fuel line from the vacuum that goes out and into the carburetor. So whenever I'll put this back on with 5/16 inch, just mounts right on the to the engine cover like so. Like I said, hopefully it's not dried up. And we'll put the carburetor on it, and then this vacuum line actually goes to the backing plate right there, right there. So I will put everything back on, and we'll see if we're getting fuel. So as you can see by the amount of gas that leaked, I pulled on the rope here, put a little bit of gas in it, pulled on the rope, and pulled it a few times, and it successfully pulled gas through the fuel line, which is what you want to see, so it can pull the vacuum up. So now that I know that, everything is still looking good, so I'm going to put the carburetor together, and we're going to test this thing out. So before I put this thing completely back together, I put just the carburetor back on, connected the linkage back here in the back. A 5/32 inch star bit actually works pretty well to take these off if you don't have the proper bit to get them off. And then got the fuel line, so let me give this thing a few pulls. It'll take a few pulls to get it to get enough gas in there, and let's see if we actually have some ignition here. Hopefully we do. So it's spitting raw fuel out the exhaust right now. Can't tell if it's flooding in there or what it's doing. I know it's getting plenty of gas though. So let me grab my starter. Well, here's a carb cleaner right here. Might just need enough to get an initial ignition since some of that old fuel's still in there. And I might need to put everything back on first to see if it'll crank. So it's just getting a little bit too much air fuel mix in there, which is probably because I don't have anything on there. But hey, it will start and run. And get everything back together and we'll test the voltage out, and I'll plug in a fan or something to see if it'll work. But definitely an encouraging sign. So let me get everything back together and then we'll see what's going on here. Alright, so I got it back together here and see if it'll crank on its own, run on its own, and then we're going to use the voltmeter to test for voltage. And I've got a fan here, so we'll see if it runs the fan. So it's not perfect, but it is a running generator. I am going to let it run for a little bit. I'll have to read up to see if it's actually supposed to surge when it doesn't have a lot of load on it. But we will see. again, this actually came with the house, so it's kind of a bonus because I've been looking for one, and luckily it's pretty easy fix so far. Like I said, I'm gonna let it run for a little while and read up and see if it's actually supposed to surge like that, but it ran the fan great. Of course, the fan's not drawing a lot of load, so you know, who knows about that. But again, it's a good running generator. It took me not even 2 hours to get going, so I'm gonna let it run for a little while. And hopefully this hurricane's not gonna come straight our way, because at my new place here, you can see that I have pretty large pine trees surrounding the entire house up there. Luckily, none of them are leaning towards the house, and they've stood the test of time, at least 50 to 60 years. So hopefully they'll withstand some winds, and they're pines, so hopefully they will. But at the very least, I've got hopefully a good generator here. I'm going to let it run for a little while, and y'all stay tuned for the next video. My plan was to go get mowers this week, but with Florence coming, I don't think I'll get to South Carolina to get them. But I did get some lights to replace these with the fried ballast. So hopefully that lighting will come soon, and keep cleaning up the garage a little bit and getting a few things out of here and a couple other things. But things are going well so far, and thank y'all for the support as I've moved. And now that I'm back, hopefully I'll have some more videos here from the new house, so and more mowers soon. But in the meantime, I got the generator running. Hopefully I have power if the power goes out because of that. And thank y'all for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.